Okay, so this is your level 2 photo editing summative and AlterEgo Billboard. This is one of my favorite assignments ever. So here are some things that I made. I made Bruce Banner with the Hulk, a baby with an old lady, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. What you're going to do for the summative is you're going to be designing what I call an alter ego billboard. You're going to use an image for the foreground and then create a shadow representing some type of alter ego. Don't just make this random. Your billboard should tell some type of visual story. You must include a background, a foreground image, and a shadow. Okay, I wrote, you can also use an image of yourself or an image of a famous person, character from a movie, TV show, video game, etc. Or you could use generic images that tell a story. So here I have famous people. Here I have generic images, famous people. I didn't do one of myself. Okay, so getting started, find images you would like to use for your main character, your alter ego, shadow, and your background, by the way. And then open Pixlr. Create your alter ego billboard, add a background layer, your character image, and your alter ego shadow. If you forget how to create a shadow, go to challenge 5, shadows. Connect the images to the shadow. So you're going to see how the baby's connected or Bruce Banner's connected there. So make sure that they're connected and then make any adjustments, save and download. And then I have tons of examples. I just did a search for alter ego shadow images, and I found all of these different images that were created that just from doing a Google search. So you shouldn't have any problems coming up with ideas. There's tons and tons of ideas there. So basically what I did to get started was I typed in brick background with floor. It doesn't have to be brick. You could have just put wall with floor. You want to have an angle. So, or for example, for my the Barack Obama and Barack Obama and Joe Biden image, I typed in Oval Office for images because I wanted to have a picture of in the Oval Office of them, and then I just put them sitting on the couches that are already in the Oval Office. So whatever type of background that you choose, go ahead and copy and paste it or download it to your computer and then insert it. So I'll go to copy image. I'm going to Control V to paste. And then I'll make it bigger. Whoops, I'm going to change this to free instead of, so it's going to get skewed, but that's okay because it's a brick wall. I don't think it's a big deal if it's skewed a little bit. I want my brick to be bigger than my floor though, so I'm going to actually do this. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. Okay, so I did that. And then I found, I'm going to do a picture of Tony Stark with Iron Man. So if you can find images that are transparent, that don't have backgrounds, that'll save you a lot of time and heartache, right? So I'm not going to do it for this example because I want to show you, I think I used this one right here. I typed in Tony Stark full body because we need the full body image for what I'm doing. So copy image, and then I'm going to go ahead and Control V to paste. Now, there's a background here. Here is what I've learned from doing a bunch of these now. If you go to cutout and mask and use the AI auto to remove your background, it is going to be a disaster for you when you start doing your shadow. So for some reason, it just skews the shadow. It makes it really weird. So if you are having to remove your background, you have a couple of choices. If it's a plain white background like this, I would say wand select would be the easiest. If it's not a plain background, then you may have to do a selection and then use your eraser tool to erase the rest of the background. I think wand select will work perfect for this because it's just a plain white background. So, okay, I'm going to Control D to deselect, and then I can use my arrange tool to move him where I want. Okay, so background gone. Okay, so now I need to get his alter ego, which in my case, it's going to be Iron Man. So I typed in Iron Man full body. I'm going to go ahead and use this image right here. Once it's completely loaded, I don't want it to be blurry. Okay, so copy image. I'm going to go back and I'm going to paste it. Okay, let me just make it fit first. Oh, it's under free. I don't want it to be under free. Oops. Oh, boy. Let me try this again. Control V. You know what? I'm starting over. Sorry. I still have, whoops. I still have the aspect ratio set to free, so it can skew the image and make them look smushed. So, and I don't want that. Oh, now it's not giving me the good image. All right, come on. Let me do a refresh here. I'm going to close this. Whoops. All right, let's try to open this again. And we'll start this whole process. I'm going to wait till it's not blurry anymore. Okay, copy image. I'm going to go back to the wrong program again. Control V. All right. I don't understand this one bit, so I'm going to save it and insert it. We are going to do it that way. All right. Let me go back to Pixlr. And I'm going to add an image layer. And that image layer will be Iron Man. Yay, I got it. I'm changing this to fixed right now before I mess it up, so that this way they will stay in proportion as I'm shrinking them. Okay, good. All right, I'm going to use the same technique that I used before because it's a white background. So I'm going to use the wand select. I'm going to click on the white background, and it looks like I'm going to have to do this one in pieces. And then I'm going to Control D. And then obviously I have to get rid of one of my Iron Men. So I'm going to just use my marquee select. And I'm going to go ahead. Oops, you know what? I don't want it to be an oval. I would rather have a rectangle. And I'm going to just go ahead and draw a rectangle around this Iron Man over on this side. And backspace it away. And Control D to deselect. And I'm left with the good Iron Man. I'm going to click back to my Arrange tool so I can move it where I want it. I'm still going to have to shrink them a little. I'm going to put them up on the wall. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move my floor down more. Maybe shrink him a little. That's maybe too much. And I just want my Iron Man to be bigger. So I wanted to give myself some more wall space so that my Iron Man can be bigger. Okay. Okay, so now I have to, Iron Man's going to turn, I'm going to turn Iron Man into a shadow. So to do that, we're going to go to Adjustments, and we're going to go to Brightness and Contrast, and we're going to turn the brightness all the way down. Okay, so now you can still see some of his coloring. So if you don't want that, then you have to turn the contrast up. And the more you turn the contrast up, the blacker it will become. I actually think it'll be cool to leave a little bit of color in this instance, so you can kind of see that it's still Iron Man. And then I'm going to hit Apply. And then I'm going to go ahead and reduce the transparency, because most shadows are not really dark black, right? They're more of a shade of gray. And then you can even see more of his color, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to go somewhere around maybe here. Okay. Now we need to connect. We need to connect his feet to the feet of Iron Man. So this is the way I've done it. There could be different methods, and if you come up with a different method, fantastic. But this is what I've done. Okay, I have taken my image of Tony Stark in this case, and I've duplicated it. So I click the 3 dots and I duplicated the layer. Okay, on the copy layer, the one that I just duplicated, I'm turning that into a shadow. So I'm going to go to Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. I'm going to turn my brightness way down. I'm going to turn my contrast up, and I'm going to click Apply. And then I'm on the copy. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my transparency. Now, the reason that we can see Tony Stark is because, if you recall, it's a duplicate layer, so we do have an original picture of him. I'm going to go ahead and flip this off. And now I'm hiding it, the original. Now I'm going to go back to the copy, and I'm going to adjust the transparency. And now you can see that you can't see the person behind. Okay, so what part do you want to cast? So if you looked at my examples here, and I don't know if this is perfect, but I kind of just casted the legs going over. So I just did it basically as lines. So what I did was I deleted the top half of the body. So make sure, again, you have the copy layer selected. I went to my marquee select, and I selected the top half of the body, and I just backspaced it away to delete it. And then I did my Control D to deselect. I went back to select my Arrange tool, and I just moved it over for right now because I'm going to turn the original back on, and I don't want it to get lost with the original, because it could, with them layered on top of each other, it'll be hard to see. So I'm going to turn my original back on. Okay, now I can move these to where I want them. While it's still selected, I'm going to go to Image. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Free Distort. And this is where you want to grab these blue circle sizing handles and start dragging to create that shadow. Okay. And you may have to make some adjustments, but you can go ahead and try that first. If you just click, it's going to ask, do you want to apply? Yes. And you may have to adjust the transparency again, yes or no. And you can do something like that. Now, what I had to do for Bruce Banner was, because the legs, I don't know if you can, well, Hulk, his legs were a lot further apart than Bruce Banner's. So what I ended up having to do was, as I distorted, I actually hid all of, oops, wrong layer. I hid these two layers, so I only saw the legs, and then I zoomed in on them, and I literally had to, I used the lasso, and I drew a circle around one of them, and then I cut. I did a Control X to cut, and then I did a Control V to paste. Oh, wrong one. You know what happened? I didn't have my layer selected. So let me just undo that. Control Z. I'm going to Control V really quick. Make sure you select the right layer, right? So I have to be on my copy layer here. And then I will do my lasso. And I'll draw it. Whoops, that's not going to work. Let's start over here. Let's see. And I just drew a lasso around this leg. And then I did a Control X to cut. Control V to paste. I went back to my Arrange tool. I turned everything back on. And then I was able to move this. Whoops, not you. You stay where you are. I was able to move. Which one is it? This one. This one independent of the other one. And then again, it looks a little too dark. This is because the transparency went up to 100 when I made a copy. So adjust your transparency. And then you should be able to drag it exactly where you want it. And then you can use this one too. I can go back to Free Distort and just distort this one exactly how I want this one to be too. So that's how I did it, to have the two legs independent of each other. So that's another thing that you can try. So a lot of playing around with it, but I think you guys are advanced enough now at this point that you can do all these different things. So make it look cool, make it tell a story, make it look realistic. I am so looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. So let me know if you have any questions.